For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris Evans. I'm a senior lecturer in the business school, and I'm going to be talking to you about, what's my presentation? I'm going to be talking to you about Prezi. I just thought I'd do a straw poll. How many people have actually tried to use Prezi already? 1, 2, 3.
Look at the YouTube, we said.
You watched the video, yeah? That doesn't count. Okay, so at least half of you have tried. I'm just going to give you a kind of introduction. I would say that I'm probably a sort of moderate user. I'm not an expert, but I'm no longer in the category of beginner, I like to think. So I hope I'm presenting at the right level for you. This presentation is in Prezi, but most of you are probably much more familiar with Microsoft PowerPoint, which I guess is the main competitor to Prezi, or maybe Prezi is the main competitor to PowerPoint, I don't know. Here's a PowerPoint slide that I prepared. You may even be familiar with the Brunel colours for the business school. It's probably a very familiar screen for you. Got the Brunel logo, and the way that you do things in PowerPoint is you have a sequence of slides. So here's my next slide. I'm going to be talking about PowerPoint. If you're lucky, you've got PowerPoint 2010. Some of you may still be using PowerPoint 2007. I think if you're a Mac user, you may be privileged to have 2011. But there we go, PowerPoint. So one of the things about PowerPoint is it's based on a sequence of slides. You have them in a particular order and you show them in the order that you prepared them. And this idea of a sequence of slides goes back an awful long way. It goes back to the days when we presented using one of these. This is does anyone know this? It's called a carousel projector. You used to put your slides in this kind of ring thing, and to do a presentation you'd have to take photographs and get them developed. Usually they'd have to be special transparency photos, or you could use kind of pre-prepared ones. And you have to put them in this wheel. Usually one or two of them you get upside down, and you have to stop in the middle of your presentation and take it out, turn it up the other way, put it back in. Anyway, so that's, believe it or not, that's how people used to give presentations in the days before computer-based presentations. And the thing about the carousel is it's a sequence of slides, and it's that idea that Microsoft adopt for their presentation software. So the structure of PowerPoint comes from the fact that we used to not use computers. So it's based on a metaphor of having a sequence of slides, a linear sequence. There's one order to go through things. It's often quite difficult. Someone says, "Oh, can you go back to that slide where you had the picture of the dragon," and then you have to go through all your slides trying to find which slide the dragon was on and things like this. It's quite awkward to jump around. It's based on the idea that you should present in one way only. And really, Prezi requires you to unlearn what you've learned about presentations and PowerPoint. It's based on the metaphor of an open canvas, a bit like a whiteboard. You can put anything on the whiteboard anywhere you want, as big as you want or as small as you want. In particular, it's non-linear, so you can have things all over the place and you can jump around if you wish. So you could, for instance, jump back to my introduction, just to prove to you that it works. If I go back a slide, I can zoom out, jump back to, let's say, linear sequence, and I can move forward from there. So I can jump to anything on my canvas. That's my canvas. And you can see I've presented various things around the outside of this circle. This just happens to be the design that I've adopted for this presentation. This is actually one of their templates. They have a very limited number of templates. Not long ago they had precisely 0 templates, but now they've got a few to kick you off. So anyway, this has the canvas, open canvas metaphor. However, you can set up a single path through your presentation. That's what I've done. That's the kind of the default. It will go from this point to this point by default. And there's a nice path tool for you to change the path or add things in, take things out. So there is a concept of a path on top of this open canvas. Only one path, I hasten to add. Now, I want to kind of look at some of the disadvantages of PowerPoint. You might be familiar with some of these, I don't know. Over the years, I've given many PowerPoint presentations, and one of the most common problems I have is that I designed my presentation in 2011, and the software on the machine is 2007, and the things that I did either don't work or don't appear the way that they were designed by me. So they appear differently. The next problem I often have is the fonts. I have a set of fonts on my computer. If those fonts don't exist on the computer that I'm using to give my presentation, again, things will not appear the way that they should. As a Mac user, that's quite a serious problem, because often I have particular fonts on my Mac which any Windows user does not have, and things will appear differently. Sometimes it tries to guess a kind of default font, and what happens is the size of the letters are different, so some of the words disappear off the end of the screen. And problem with fonts. The one that used to drive me most crazy, though, was animations. I would spend hours and hours and hours with these flashy things coming on and spinning around, and then I'd go somewhere else and they had a different version of PowerPoint or something. But for some reason my animations didn't work, so I just had to do a standard sort of old-fashioned slideshow. And the one I've already mentioned, the difficulty in PowerPoint of someone saying, "Oh, can you go back to that slide, such and such?" It's very difficult to move around the slides unless you remember where in that sequence of slides things existed. So these are sort of some of the drawbacks of PowerPoint that I've experienced on many occasions. So I want to say something about how Prezi works. And I guess my experience is that the main way of using Prezi is to base things around pictures or shapes. You can have squares and circles and rectangles. You can have pictures of things. I gave a presentation at the staff training day, can't remember what it was called, last year, to the business school, and I used an owl as my main picture and put things around this owl. And that's a common way of using Prezi. And that gives you the overview. So when you look at the whole canvas, you see the main image, and that tells you what thing you want to emphasize. But what you do is you have bits of detail that you can hide by making them small. Yeah? That's the main concept. All the information is there on the canvas, but some of it is so small that unless I zoom in on it, you won't be able to see it. The next key characteristic of Prezi is that you change the angles of things to try and add interest to your presentation. And I've already mentioned that you need to zoom in to reveal the detail. So to give you an example, that was small, I've zoomed in. You can rotate, change the angles of things to make it a bit more interesting, zoom in again. The way that Prezi works is if you select an object to display, it will zoom in so that object fills the presentation screen. It doesn't matter whether it's text or a picture or a video. When it gets selected, it will fill the screen.
So you don't have to worry about the font?
You don't have to worry about the font. The fonts on Prezi are very limited. Yeah, so you're not going to have your fancy favourite font. And if you select a particular template, it will give you a set of fonts that you can use. Usually there's sort of 3 different kinds. There's a title font, a sort of subtitle font, and a text font with anyone. And they will come in preset colours. If you use a different template, then different colours, different fonts. But if you're one of the people who likes to obsess over their own personal fonts that they've got, it's not going to work in Prezi. So fonts are not the way to go. One of the key tools in Prezi to understand is something that's become known as the zebra, or if you watch the videos, it's the zebra. And this is an example of the zebra here. This zebra is editing some text. The text behind it, you can see animals at the zoo. This is one of the key ways of editing things. Okay? We don't have the old-fashioned text boxes that Word has and all these editing tools. Almost everything starts with the zebra. And there are 2 or 3 regions to the zebra. I won't go into it because I'm going to show you a little video, I think, which explains what they are. But there's an outer bit and an inner bit, and then some buttons, various points on the zebra. And what the zebra does is it lets you move things around the screen. You can just pick up the zebra. If you move the zebra, the object it's attached to moves with it. So you can put things on your canvas wherever you want to put them. You can also, using the plus and minus buttons, you'll see an example in a second, make the objects bigger or smaller. Again, it applies to any objects, the same principle. If it's text, it gets bigger. If it's a video, it gets bigger. If it's a picture, it gets bigger. Or you can shrink things. You can use the zebra to rotate, so change the angle of anything. You can use it to edit anything that's editable, in particular text. And you can use it to delete. There's usually a pencil that you click to edit, and a trash can, traditionally, to delete an object. So really all the editing is handled by this clever little zebra. So here's Prezi's little introduction. Before I go any further, perhaps I should explain some things about the sort of the technology or the philosophy behind Prezi versus PowerPoint. PowerPoint is kind of first generation type of software. You have to install it on your computer, hence the problem of someone's installed a different version on their computer when you get to give your presentation. You have to buy the software to install it, and it works in a standalone way on your computer. Prezi is a Web 2 technology. It's a second generation technology. What does that mean? Well, several things. One is that you don't install it. It exists on the web or in the cloud, to use the trendy terms. So that means that you don't have to have anything to edit your presentations. Wherever you go, so long as you've got access to the web, you can edit your presentation, add the final touches. And you don't have to worry about carrying it around with you. Often, I remember in the old days, I used to first of all produce some printed transparencies in case everything went wrong. And then I'd have a copy on a USB stick. And just in case my USB stick got corrupted, I'd make a copy on a CD. And probably email myself one. So I'd have all these backups. Well, it's online, so you don't need to worry about those things. It's available in space which you have access to from wherever you are. So you don't need to install the software, and it's an online software.
But
yeah.
That means you cannot use it unless you have an internet connection.
No, you can. There is a facility in Prezi to export your presentation as a standalone package. It's actually in Flash, but you don't need Flash installed on the machine because it comes with a built-in Flash player. So if you did want to take precautions, you can export an offline version that will run on any machine. It produces both a Mac and a Windows compatible version in one.
Download even if I have, like this YouTube video, it will keep it in the package? So
that's a very good question. The YouTube videos that you're going to see now are online. Yeah. So when I go into it, it's going to connect to YouTube and stream the video from YouTube. Yeah. Obviously, if I didn't have an internet connection, that wouldn't work. Yeah. Or more commonly at Brunel, internet connection suddenly goes really slow, and the video stops in the middle. Yeah. So what you can do, if you know how, is to download the video from YouTube and then upload it into Prezi. It's then embedded in Prezi, and it will work offline with no internet connection at all. And that's what I did today. You're seeing the online version. In case all hell breaks loose, I've got an offline version I can
How big is
show you.
the software? How many gigabyte or megabyte or?
The software is online, doesn't affect you.
No, in case you want to download it on your.
Well, that depends very much on your presentation and how many
don't
pictures
download
you
the
put in.
Well, you said you can also use it as standalone.
Yep,
You download the presentation as a button.
it's the presentation you download.
And it's as yet free, I believe, the software. Wherever you're using
I'll
it.
be coming. I'll be coming to that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And also, can you obviously importing via a YouTube video, can you import JPEGs and all that kind of stuff?
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, there's a certain number of file types that it supports. I can't remember what they are, but they're the common ones: JPEG, PICT, PNG, PDF. So you can import most of your pictures.
Chris has one more question. You've showed us how you can go backwards and forwards and here to there, but you also said there's this, you can set up a standard route through the slides. So I'm thinking if we're producing a package of presentation which we're going to load onto Ulink or wherever for the students, like we do with the Microsoft PowerPoint. Would the student just use the page up and page down buttons to go backwards and forwards in that presentation? I guess what I'm getting at is that is there a danger that the student might get lost in the Prezi and think, oh goodness, where do I go now? That's one of the questions.
Yep. So I understand the question. So you set up your canvas with all your things on,
Yeah.
and you're expecting to zoom into certain things and then zoom out. You then set up a path
Yeah.
through that presentation, going through every one of your elements, and then the student can follow that path. If they want to go back and watch the video again, they can abandon the path, watch the video, and return to the path if they wish. Yeah, so they've got the flexibility of going through the presentation any way they like, but if they want the security of following it how you presented it, they follow your path.
And it's easy then to find out how to get back on the path.
By default, it will return to the path, yeah, unless they say go somewhere else.
Okay.
Yep, I think you can, yeah, because it's all on the web. Yeah, you can embed a hyperlink, it's no problem. Let me get Prezi to tell you a bit more.
Welcome to Prezi. In this short video, you will learn all you need to know to create your first Prezi. Let's begin. Sign into your Prezi account here and click Create a new Prezi. Enter the title and description of your Prezi. Then click the New Prezi button at the bottom of the title form. This takes you to the template palette. Choose the blank template at the top left and click Start Editing. This takes you to the Prezi canvas. In the middle of the canvas is the Welcome to Prezi tutorial. Click Start and follow this tutorial to get an overview of the basic Prezi editing features. Once you've completed this tutorial, dismiss it and let's move on. The first thing we'll do is add text. Click on an open space somewhere on the canvas. Type in text. Then click once on the text. The Prezi transformation zebra should appear overlaid upon the text. This zebra allows you to manipulate objects on the Prezi canvas. Click the center of the zebra and press the Delete button on your computer to delete the text. To edit the text, double-click the center of the zebra to open an editable text box. If you change your mind on your last edit, go to the top middle menu and click the Undo arrow. Now let's move the text. Click and hold the center of the zebra and drag your text where you want it to go. Use the outer ring of the zebra to rotate text. Hold and turn. Use the plus and minus signs inside the zebra to change the size. For more fine-tuning, use the inner ring. Click and push towards the center to make the text smaller, or push away from the center to make the text bigger. Note the pencil icon on the zebra. Click it to get further editing options. I will let you explore these options on your own. let's review the zoom bar on the far right of the Prezi canvas. This zoom bar affects your entire Prezi canvas, not just a single object. Click plus to zoom in and minus to zoom out. The zoom level in the middle of the bar shows you how far you are zoomed in or out. Clicking the zoom bar's home button takes you back to the level at which you started. Next, let's add an image. Click Insert from the bubble menu in the upper left corner. From this menu, you can insert shapes, lines, arrows, drawings, YouTube files, or images. Click on Image. Use the web search function or navigate your computer's folder structure and select an image file. Prezi will upload the image to your canvas. Click once on the image just like you did with text, and grab the center of the zebra to move the image around the canvas. Or click on the inner ring and push in to make the image smaller. Again, the outer ring allows you to rotate. Now let's add video. In Prezi, you can easily add YouTube videos with just a few clicks. Go to YouTube and select a video. Copy the URL of the video, come back to your Prezi, click Insert, and then YouTube. Paste in the YouTube URL into the dialog box and click OK. The video should appear automatically. Just like with text and images, click on the video once to get the zebra. Now move the video, or size it, or rotate it. Once you have several objects in your Prezi, let's connect these items into a presentation storyline by adding a path. Click on Path from the bubble menu, and then click on Add to add a path. Click on the text or object you want to show first, then second, third, etc. You should see the numbered bubbles appearing on the objects. If you change your mind, remove an item from the path by holding the bubble and dragging outside of the Prezi. The path sequence will be renumbered and this object will no longer be in the path. On the other hand, if you finish the path and decide to add another object to the path, grab the bubble in between two path objects and drag to where you want to add it. Once the object is highlighted, release. The object will be added to the path and the path will renumber accordingly. Once you have a path in your Prezi, you're ready to present. When transitioning between editing features in Prezi, use the Escape key, and then click on the gray bubble marked Show in the upper left corner. This is your presentation mode. In Show mode, you or the person viewing your Prezi will use these arrows or the arrow keys on the keyboard to go through your presentation. Click Next or the right arrow and go through the different elements in your Prezi. An embedded YouTube video will automatically start playing once you reach in the Prezi path. You can stop the path sequence at any time by clicking on an object to zoom in on it. You can then resume your path. To exit the Prezi, go back to edit mode by clicking the spacebar. Click Exit in the thin blue menu at the top of the Prezi canvas, and it will take you to your Prezi View page. Watch the other tutorials on Prezi's Learn page for additional tips on making a more effective Prezi, sharing your Prezi with others, or importing slides from other presentation packages like PowerPoint or Keynote. Need additional help? Check out the cheat sheet of tips and shortcuts under this video, or visit the Prezi manual at prezi.com/learn/manual. Happy Zooming!
Okay, so we were talking earlier about the different types of ways of presenting the material. This presentation you're watching is an online presentation. The YouTube videos are streaming over the web, but you can, as I said, download and present your presentation offline. One of the newest developments of Prezi is the ability to share the URL. Actually, sharing the URL is not new, but the ways in which you can use the shared URL are new. So ever since Prezi's been around, once you've created a presentation, you can give a short URL to all your students, and they can then access the presentation. They don't need a Prezi account. They can work through the path and watch your presentation. Some of the new features, which I'll come to in a second, are about not just sharing the final presentation, but sharing the editing and production of your presentation. And I guess that's another one of the Web 2 social media characteristics of Prezi, is it has some great facilities for collaboration. Because it's located in the cloud online, and we're all connected through the internet, there are opportunities for collaborating in ways that are not really possible with PowerPoint, at least not all of them yet. So this is another Prezi video about how you can collaborate.
When you're done making your Prezi, share it with others. In this tutorial, you'll learn several ways to share that include viewing, editing, presenting, and publishing your Prezi. To allow others to view your Prezi, you can send a view-only link by clicking on the Prezi on your Prezi's page. Then scroll under it and click Share. This generates a URL that you can send to others. Anyone can view this link without a Prezi account or special software. If you have an Enjoy or Pro account and you want to share your Prezi publicly on Prezi.com, make sure your privacy setting is set to public. If you don't mind if other Prezi users copy your Prezi, set your privacy setting to public and allow copy. Also, for public Prezis, the Share button allows you to share your Prezi directly with your Facebook and Twitter networks. To allow others to collaborate with you and have editing access to your Prezi, you can invite them to edit in two ways. Click on the Prezi on your Prezi's page and scroll under it and click Edit Together. This generates a URL that you can send to others. Note that someone must have a Prezi account to edit a Prezi. Another way to invite others to work on a Prezi with you is from within the Prezi itself. On the Prezi canvas, click Prezi Meeting in the menu bar in the upper middle part of your screen. Select Invite to Edit. This generates a URL that you can send to others. Again, for others to participate in a Prezi meeting session, they must have a Prezi account. If you are ready to present your Prezi to others, you can do that in three ways. The first is to present with a path. This entails using the path tool described in the Getting Started tutorial to determine the order in which you want the elements in your Prezi to appear. After adding a path, you can click the arrow keys on your keyboard or in the Prezi to advance through your Prezi in the predetermined path order. The second way is to present without a path. This entails panning across the canvas and using the zoom functions to navigate through your Prezi. This is a great way to present for interactive discussions where the audience participation can guide where you go in your Prezi. Lastly, you can use Prezi Meeting to present your Prezi in real time to those in the same room or in remote locations. To start a Prezi meeting session, click on the Prezi Meeting button from Edit mode in your Prezi. Then click on Start Online Presentation. This will generate a URL that you can send to other Prezi users to view the Prezi. Up to 10 users with Prezi accounts can be in your Prezi meeting at one time. Another way to show your Prezi is to embed it on a blog or website. To publish your Prezi on the site, click on the Prezi on your Prezi's page, then scroll below the Prezi and click Share, and then Embed. This generates HTML code which you can copy and paste into the source code of your blog or site. Your Prezi will appear in a Prezi player, and visitors to your site can click through your presentation. If you're ready to convert from slides to Prezi, Check out the next tutorial. Need additional help? Check out the Prezi manual at prezi.com/learn/manual or the cheat sheet under this video. Happy Zooming!
They say I can convert from PowerPoint to Prezi.
Yes, I don't recommend it. The way it works is, what happens is you can export a PowerPoint presentation as a sequence of PDFs, and then you can import the PDFs into Prezi as a sequence of images, and then you just define the path through it. So you can, if you want to preserve your old-fashioned PowerPoint presentations but use Prezi, you can do that. Of course, the philosophy of Prezi is to do it in a different way, because you think about presentations in a different way.
But it will be treated like, when it's when they're PDF, they're not edited. You cannot edit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the limit of the integration. But if you've got a favourite PowerPoint presentation that you designed, it took you weeks to design, then you don't need to throw it away. If you want to make it look the same, you can do that.
The question, what is the best way, is just to put everything on there and to define the path, or just put it one by one?
So the way that I use Prezi, and because it involves a different way of thinking, is that I think to myself, what are the key ideas that I want to get across, at the top level, the main ideas, and I would design things around those key ideas, either with pictures or with bits of text. And then I'd think, right, given I'm going to be talking about X, what do I want to say about X? And then I'd elaborate on those ideas. While I'm doing it, I might think of another key idea and think, I thought there were going to be 4, actually there's 5 key ideas. So you can actually use Prezi as a kind of sort of brainstorming, ideas generating presentation software. It's not just for presenting the finished view in your head. You can actually develop your presentation as you go along, and often I will make things bigger as I suddenly decide actually they're more important, or make them smaller as I decide they're just detail.
The way you describe it seems to me like the way I would design a slide, a set of slides. If I go to a lecture, I might think these are the 5 main ideas, so I start with say 5 slides on those, and then in each slide I put a main point, and if it carries over I make one more slide, so that slide continues, so on and so forth. So if I have my PowerPoint slides on one side, can I just cut and paste from there, and that's how can I populate Prezi, and I say here's the first idea, so that's maybe the main thing on that slide, and then the sub ideas go underneath it, and then when I'm finished with that, so that's one key, there's another key.
So you could definitely do it that way. What's happening, what you're describing, is that you're thinking about the presentation in a sort of PowerPoint worldview, and then trying to reproduce the PowerPoint worldview in Prezi. But Prezi can actually give you some flexibility that PowerPoint doesn't give you. So for example, if you've designed your one slide and then you've done your 6 bullet points for detail, if I suddenly think that actually bullet point 2 on that slide should be a whole slide, that's quite complicated to do. I've got to create a new slide, got to copy it out, then I've got to think how do the other bullet points fit together, and where does this slide go in the presentation. In Prezi this is really easy, because all you do is change the path that you go through the material. So
what about copyright, if you don't mind me asking, because you go to YouTube and other things, how would it work?
So the copyright, because it's being presented through YouTube over the web, the YouTube copyright is exactly the same as you visiting a YouTube site. So
you visit individually here, and you are merging it with your own, and
yeah.
It's in the cloud.
So the copyright still belongs to the originator of the video.
In terms of individual or constitution, will that affect it or not?
So usually, by people putting their videos on YouTube, they are agreeing to making them available to the public. Yeah, and certainly as educationalists, we'd be able to show those to our students. I mean, there are some issues, but I think they're the same issues that you face with any other medium. There are certain possibilities that come up, and because you're kind of you're remixing things, perhaps. Yeah. So I'm sure there are some copyright issues, but they're the kind of copyright issues that arise for all of social media. And I see plenty of videos that I know of someone's taken someone else's video and changed it around a bit. I'm sure they're not meant to do that, but these things happen. Yeah, you just you zoom out to whatever it is that you're interested in. Click on it to draw the caster's focus on that thing, and when you finish talking about it, Prezi will rejoin the path where it left off. This is the video I just showed you because I've jumped up to a bit earlier in the path. So you can jump around the presentation to wherever you want. Yep.
400, 300, 400. What is the recommended size for?
So I've seen them vary. Some of them are very, very simple,
It can be
and
large.
some have loads. Yeah,
Can be very large.
yeah, because there's no concept of slides. They're just data objects, pictures and bits of text and
But
videos.
does it get a bit confusing? Because it's-
Well, in a sense, no, it doesn't get confusing because you get this sort of overall view of things. Yeah, just as I can. So you get a top level view of things, and that gives you the structure. In a way, PowerPoint is kind of one dimensional, and what Prezi does is gives you another dimension.
I have two questions. First of all, you haven't seen it as a full screen. Is it possible to do it as a full screen, or I still have to see the?
Does that make you feel better?
Yeah.
The reason why I don't do it full screen, for reasons that I don't understand, the presenter tool stops working when I'm in full screen mode.
That is making me come to my next question. Is it possible to manipulate it, to use all the functions using the remote? I mean, can you zoom out and in with the remote also? Or you have to return back to the keyboard each time you need to?
So my presentation tool lets me step to the previous element in the path or the next element in the path.
Yeah.
That's it. If I want to zoom out, I need the up and down keys. Some clever presenters have up and down keys on them, but most of them don't. They just have what I have. So yes, if you do want to use the interactive features, which is what they were describing in that video, where someone says, "Oh, what about that giraffe?" and you want to bring up the picture of the giraffe, you need the keyboard and the mouse to do that. In fact, that was one of the decisions that I had to make when I came, because all the chairs had been set up facing that screen, and if I was standing there, I can't reach the mouse. Yeah? So I can give an old-fashioned presentation, but if I want to give an interactive one, I can't do it. So I decided to use this screen and point the chairs this way, so I can actually, if necessary, get out the mouse, which is one of the things I need to do now, I think, to get back to my presentation. Yeah. I was asked earlier about how much things cost. So if you're an educationist, there are three pricing structures. Public one, which is available to everybody, which is free, and then what they call Edu Enjoy. I should be putting this one, shouldn't I? Edu Enjoy and Education Pro. You, as an educationalist, you get certain features that the general public don't get. They are the ability to make your presentation private. Part of the philosophy of Prezi, and I guess social media, is that what you do, you share. We all share, so we all learn. And if you go for a free public account, any presentations you make are visible to the world. They can't edit them unless you decide to allow them or copy them, but they can watch them. That's kind of the philosophy. But if you go for an educational account, you get the ability to make certain ones of them private. Maybe there are good reasons for that. For particular classes, you don't want to share them. I don't know. You also have the ability, I've never used it, to add in a logo for your university or your business school, whatever, rather than having Prezi's default logo. That's a relatively new feature in Prezi. If you want to pay some money, there's some other things you get, support and more storage space. But the important thing is that if you're from a university or college, you get 500 megabytes of space on their servers. Remember, your presentations have to be stored and edited on their servers, not on your computer. And that costs absolutely nothing. How do they know whether you're an educational user? Usually by the domain name. If your email ends .ac.uk, they assume you are a teacher, lecturer.
Register.
Yeah.
I have registered using my Cornell email, but once I, let's say, leave, is the account will be shut down or?
Well, you can move your email address. How they handle whether you're still in education or not, I don't know. It's possible that if your new address, I'm just guessing now, if your new address doesn't have .ac.uk, they might say, oh, well, okay, you need to give us some money if you want to keep the account.
The question is, the Prezi, you cannot save it in your desktop or flash memory.
As an editable version, no. Editable version has to be stored on the cloud, on the web.
Yes.
Yeah? But if you want to have a copy which you can present, you can export, and you'll get a copy which you can present wherever you are. Well, so you say it's under their control, but the trend is that more and more things are going to be like this. And their control, yes, but they're on your side. Yeah. The only limitation is going to be the space.
Desktop version, you can download it and edit it offline.
You can only have an editable offline version if you pay some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you have an edu account, you cannot.
No, you can have a
For
offline
30 days,
version for presenting, but not for.
Because I downloaded it. It's for 30 days.
Yeah.
Before.
But the whole spirit of it, like a lot of the technologies that are developing now, is to do everything online. So wherever you need to access it, wherever you are, it's there. You know, you don't have the problem of having left it at home or left it on your desk or your USB getting corrupted. It's the same thing as all the other Web 2 social media technologies, you know, Google Docs and so on. But everything is online.
It's only when I have like AC, so it means if I'm in the UK. So if I'm a lecturer somewhere else in the US or...
No, I'm sure I'm just telling you my experience, which is .ac. I'm sure .edu will work. And even if you've got a domain that isn't, I think you can contact them. And if you can convince them that you are the teacher, they'll give you the account for free. I've never had any problem with it. But
Because who's behind it? Microsoft again?
no, I don't know who owns them at the moment. Certainly wouldn't be Microsoft. I think they'd be in trouble.
I believe in the homepage.
They have a video where the inventor explains that he never intended this to be a commercial enterprise. He wanted to have a more interesting way of doing presentations.
So if someone was putting on Unix, would they just literally put the link, like a web link to it?
Yeah.
That's the way they do it rather than that doesn't work.
No.
So it's just the web link.
Yeah, you'd share the URL. Yeah. And it's a bit like YouTube. So when someone goes to your URL, if they've got an account, they can see, you know, all the other presentations that you've done and look at your other presentations and share them with their friends. And
We try to embed it. Have the embedded space.
I've never tried it in Unix. No, but you do get embed code that you can put in your blog or what have you. It's one of the nice features. It integrates quite well with Facebook and Twitter and things like that.
Can you comment on someone's...
I think you can. I was just wondering that myself as I was speaking. But I think you can. I think, again, you've got the choice to enable it or disable it, but I think you can provide comments. So that, at my conclusion now, so the main thing to understand is it's a modern alternative to PowerPoint. You shouldn't think of it as another PowerPoint. You know, there's a very nice program for the Mac, which is very similar to PowerPoint, possibly better, but it's exactly the same philosophy. This is a different philosophy. It's non-linear, so you can make it interactive if you wish, although as we've discussed there is this sort of recommended path through it. One of the nice things about it is it's collaborative. There were 3 ways of collaborating. You can share the presentation with your students. You can share the editing of your presentation with other people, so you can all be editing the same presentation at the same time. So you could say, right, you work on this bit and I work on that bit, and you can all work on the same presentation simultaneously. And also you can share giving the presentation. So as I have done now, I've been moving around this presentation. I could have shared this with some people who perhaps couldn't come here today, who are online at home. And as I move from one point in the path to another point, the presentation on their screen would move. Yeah, so it's like watching a video. Yeah? Yeah. So you can have online collaboration presentation. Yes, it's entirely. Yes, there was lots of possibilities to start to open up.
It doesn't work like a webinar then.
Well, it's got some of the features of a webinar, but not all of them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I've mentioned a lot about its sort of social media role and the way that it's a Web 2 technology. It's the future, I suppose, in that sense. But probably one of the most important things to understand, and one that people struggle with the first time they use Prezi, is that you really need to think differently about what a presentation is and how you give a presentation. Because I found myself, much as I hated PowerPoint, I was always thinking in a PowerPoint way and trying to do the same thing in Prezi. And really, to get the best out of Prezi, to make the best, most helpful, most interesting presentations, you need to stop thinking that way and think in a different way.
It's like mind mapping, isn't it? It's essentially.
Exactly.
It is, yeah, it is mind mapping. Yeah. So, 2 more things. Remember, it's fun and it's free. And as Prezi say, happy Zoom. So, it brings us to the end. Thank you very much.